How you doing, everyone? And welcome talking about liberty, and yes, talking about the pursuit of happiness, and showing everyone in the world that Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope everyone is having a good day, good week, wherever you are located. Just remember that this is the day that the Lord has made. You should be rejoicing, and be glad in it, ladies and gentlemen. Last week, I was struggling. I was struggling with getting to the studio. I was struggling with life. I was struggling with a lot of things. I told my good friend Amber May that a couple of days ago that I just been really, really busy, but I'm getting back. And I know Dr. Mike, okay, from Two Mics Live. Dr. Mike's going to go ahead and say something. If he sees me in his chat today, he's going to say, Isaac, you have to have consistency. And I know, okay, I've been doing this for a while, and he's 100% correct. You have to, and unfortunately, life sometimes gets in the way for us, show hosts or podcasters. But guess what? We're making it. We're making it. I'm pushing through. I'm trying to, at least. I'm trying to push through and get it done. I know you guys miss me. I've had people reach out and say, "Where are you at, man? What's going on?" It just um, when you work a 10-hour job and you do shows like this, and you have other responsibilities, sometimes you have to weigh everything out. And unfortunately, I just couldn't make it to the studio last week on a lot of things. And look, this was good about a show like this. You guys get to know me, and I get to know you. And yeah, I'm not live most of the time, but I try to get into the chat as much as possible. And it is it's good to like people like Skunk and Arma Kevin and Wendy and everybody else that's in this chat, is Johnny. All of y'all guys, I get to know you through the chat, and it feels good to have a family that I can come to, and I can say, hey, look, I'm gonna talk about this. Yes, I talk about this with my regular family. Don't get me wrong, but it's just fun to go ahead and come and hang out and talk about politics and all that good stuff. But again, going to the point where people reaching out, hey, how you doing? What's going on? We haven't seen you in a while. Is everything okay? Hope everything's well. And it feels comforting to know that, hey, we have somebody like that. I have somebody. And look, my media family is real good with that. I'm not one of them people that say, well, my family never talks to me. No, my family's next door. Our studio is right next door to mom and dad's house. I have, next door on the other side of the studio is some of my cousins. We talk to each other all the time. My wife and me, we're very close. My kids, we're very close. We are not far distant. I'm not like, oh, this is my only avenue, but it's good to have an avenue to where I can come and talk with my family, my Cajun conservative family. And I love you guys. I thank you guys. I thank you guys always for being there. Before we dive into any stories, I also got to talk about Primetime Media, the new home of the Isaac Hayes Show. Primetime Media LA.com/the Isaac Hayes Show. We go ahead, and our Apple iTunes, our Apple link is linked up to the website. So every time we get a new episode, there's an email sent out, or there's something that notifies people, hey, Isaac Hayes just released another episode. And we've been releasing news stories. Our good friend and the founder, one of the founders of Primetime Media, Kelby Dago, released out a statement the other day saying 200% of traffic uptick. So 200%. And look, I don't know how many of you already went and subscribed, but if you haven't, please consider Primetime Media at primetimemediala.com. Go subscribe. It helps us out more than you know. A lot of people don't understand about subscriptions. If you are subscribed, that helps out our numbers. That helps us out with advertisers and all that good stuff. So go check out primetimemediala.com and help us guys out over there at Primetime Media. We got a lot of things planned. We're working on a few things at the moment. And God is good. Let's just say God is good, and He is doing some great things for us here. My dream is to do this full time. My dream is to go ahead and do something I love. And I think it was the wife that said it the other day. The wife was like, I was talking about some endeavors I wanted to do. Well, I want to do this. I want to do that. I think I should start this company, that company, and try to make it better for me and my family. And the wife kept on telling me, I don't think you should do that. I don't think you should do that. And I was like, well, why you always tell me that? She said, do something you love. And look, Dan Bongino says the best way. This isn't a real job, because you're talking, you're listening. You're talking and you're giving your opinions. A real job is what I'm doing right now, going out there and work. But there's people out there that want to hear opinions, and I would love to do that for a living. Just sit down and read stories and get my thoughts together. And one of the big things I want to do this full time is because I would have also have time to work on my sermons, work on ministry stuff, balance my time out. And that's something I would love to do full time. It's be a full time radio host or be a full time podcaster. And right now it's not possible, but guess what? One day I'm believing God's going to give me the opportunity to do this full time. That's my hope. That is my dream. And but on the side note, it just this helps us out. If you go ahead and do that, to hit the primetime media, that gets us one step closer to doing this full time and helping me out, helping a brother out, helping us out to fulfill our goals and our dreams in life. And that's all possible because of you. Going back to the chat, going back to everybody that's listening on the podcast side, everybody that's listening on YouTube. Hey, this helps out more than you know. So, all right, now we can get into the story. Now we can get into the stories. And look, I have some stories from last week. I have some stories that I really have an opinion on. And this weekend, it wasn't the biggest news story. Donald Trump did attend another sporting event. And from a perspective of my wife goes ahead and gives me some good ideas sometimes. I had to explain to her yesterday, at least we see this president, and he's just not sitting in the White House sleeping, taking naps, because the perspective of her and a few other people are, well, look, Donald Trump went to the Super Bowl last week, not last Sunday, but the Sunday before. And it was a big to-who. It was, Donald Trump, is there, and he's hanging out with celebrities, and he's talking, he's at the Super Bowl. This week, the Beast started off all the trucks, the cars, at the Daytona 500. And the Daytona 500, Donald Trump took the Beast, and they went onto the track, and they helped the cars get in there or whatever. And he was at the Daytona 500, and my wife was like, well, he needs to start getting stuff done and getting out of the White House and not leaving the White House and going to these sporting events. And like I said, I made this point. This is for everybody else that's thinking that at least we're seeing this president. We know this president is moving and active. The last one could not move and be active. He went on a beach and he fell asleep on a beach for several hours. Secret Service had to go and, hey, Mr. President, are you okay? Oh, he's fine. He's just taking a nap. This president don't have to have cue cards. At least this president is going. His wife, the previous president, Joseph Biden, his wife would go to more events than he would. Think about that, okay? And I understand the argument of a lot of people, well, he needs to get stuff done. But the thing of it is, he has been getting stuff done. Okay? I had another conversation with an individual a couple of days ago saying, Trump has not impressed me. And I'm like, how can Trump have not impressed you? Now, we were in a situation where a lot of people could hear us, and we both were agreeing to disagree on a lot of stuff. But how could you not, me personally, is how do you not think Donald Trump is not doing enough? And this is a whole nother argument as well. All these people that, I don't know if this individual voted for Trump. It sounds like she didn't. I don't know. But this individual that told me, I don't think he's been doing that much. And I don't know who this individual voted for, again. But, these high expectations on election days is big. Look, this isn't I'm about to talk about DOGE a little bit. This is where I'm leading up with this. But a lot of people, when they elect a government official, they think the next day things are going to change. All right, there's a lot of people, I wish he would bring down groceries. I wish he would bring down this. He's working on that. Look, this president has done a lot in 20 some days that he's been in office. He's about to, I think it's because today at the time of this recording is February 17th of 2025. He was inaugurated on January 20th. So a little under 30 days he has been in there. Now, he has done a lot. I'm not gonna deny that. Look, and I follow this all the time. I follow me, Kelby Dago, and Joe. We follow this all the time. Dr. Mike follows this all the time. Emma May follows us. So we're seeing the accomplishments. We're seeing what Donald Trump's doing. But there's some out there that don't see this because they don't follow the news all the time. And they're still looking at the grocery prices. And the first thing is, I wish Donald Trump would do something. He's only been in there for 30 days. Give him time. It's the same thing with the election here in Louisiana for governor. Everybody overwhelmingly voted for Jeff Landry. And I believe Jeff Landry is a conservative. I believe Jeff Landry has some good things in his belt. But when Jeff Landry first got in there, everybody was like, yes, Louisiana's going to change the next day. And I was like, look, we have a new governor. Don't expect a new change right away. He has to work on it, especially Louisiana politics. It's weird. Louisiana politics is, again, I was talking to my good friend Amber May the other day, and we brought out this point about the election in process in Louisiana, and she looked at me and she said, man, that's different. Yeah, we're different than everybody else. I think it needs to change, but because that's the problem with Louisiana, and I'm not trying to dog my own state, but our Louisiana politics and the Louisiana system, election system, for some reason says we have to be different than everybody else. Well, look, if it's not working, don't change. If it's working in one area, if you can apply it in the state of Louisiana, do it. Okay, I'm just making that point, and I know there's legislators that listen to this show. Don't always want to be different. Do something that works. But going back to the president, don't use that as an example. Louisiana governor, don't expect it to be changed right when he swears, puts his hand on the Bible. Yes, Donald Trump has done some good things with immigration and with the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, finding wasteful spending and all this stuff. He is doing a good job in a lot of areas, but do not think that things are going to change automatically. Remember, it's easier to tear down something than build it back and build it back up. Donald Trump did some great things in his first term. His administration was sabotaged a lot of times in the first term. Joe Biden came and tore it down. It was very fast to tore it down. Now Donald Trump has to rebuild it from the rubble. He has to find the things that he has to find the scrap pieces of wood that's still usable. And this is why I'm bringing this whole out, because Donald Trump has done some great things. And Donald Trump is still doing great things. And look, even allowing DOGE to do their job. Got an article yesterday, DOGE scores big court win, allowing access data on 3 federal agencies. If you remember, there were several agencies that went ahead and sued the Trump administration because they believe DOGE is not right. They don't have the right to do what they're doing because Donald Trump appointed Elon Musk. And you hear this all the time. You know, I'm tired of hearing it, but you hear it all the time of the Democrats. Elon Musk is not an elected official. Elon Musk is not an elected official. And I talked about this the other day. The IRS people are not elected officials, but they get to look into your accounts. They get to look and see if you are committing fraud. They have the access to shut down your banking account, but they're not elected officials. Also, on that point, everybody in the executive office that has been appointed, majority of them have not been, all of them have not been elected. And then they can go to, well, they've been Senate confirmed, and they've been, okay, that's a whole nother process. But people in the executive positions, and especially in government agencies, they have not been appointed. They have not been elected. You notice you didn't hear nothing about this when Biden would push things on people from people that were not elected. But that was all right. That was Joseph Biden, Donald Trump's big, bad, evil orange man. But there were some lawsuits against DOGE, and there's still some lawsuits against DOGE that we're trying to find out. But a federal judge in Washington on Friday handed down Elon Musk's government effective team a win by declining a request to temporarily block it from accessing sensitive data from at least 3 federal agencies. Unions and nonprofits attempted to stop Musk's Department of Government Efficiency from accessing records at the Department of Labor, Health and Human Services, and the Consumer Finance Protected Bureau. Why? Why did these entities want to stop Elon Musk? If you're not doing nothing wrong, why are you trying to stop somebody from looking into your books? You ever thought of that? Okay, with this whole situation with DOGE, from last week until now, and there was a lot of stories that came out of DOGE last week, people suing them, Donald Trump telling them to go look at the Department of Justice and several other agencies, and we're about to talk about another agency. But why do you want to block Elon Musk from looking at your books and seeing how you're spending? Well, that's sensitive information. He's gonna see America's information. Look, don't create a Facebook page then. Don't create anything. Do you know that a lot of people see your information already? How do you think? Okay, you look up a object on Amazon, and all of a sudden on your Facebook page, there's several suggestions of what you looked for. I did this yesterday. Okay, look, our fantasy football teams, we give out rings for the champions. To say, hey, you were a champion in 2024. We don't have the league name. It's just a generic ring. You type up, hey, look up fantasy football rings. You look up a few of them. You go and on your Facebook page or on your social media sites, all of a sudden you're seeing fantasy football rings. Why? People have your sensitive information. Okay, it's in the world we live in. If you want to be obsolete and not have no information out there, don't create any social media apps. Don't create any social media profiles. Don't do anything with the internet, really. People have information, but we don't want Elon Musk having this sensitive information. What is he going to do with it? This man's a multi-billionaire. Now, some people might make some arguments, whatever, but what is your main reason? He's gonna find and I hear that he's gonna have sensitive information. He's looking at your books on how you're spending government money. And I have a suspicion why they don't want him to look into that, because of USAID that Trump is in the process of shutting down. Why? Because this agency that was supposed to be dedicated to humanitarian aid is using it for everything in the books. And look, I get upset too. I watch the left-leaning media, how they do this, all right? They will go ahead and say, let's use USAID, for example. Oh, he's stopping humanitarian aid. And then they made this comment about condoms going to the Gaza Strip. Elon Musk was in the Oval Office, and Elon Musk said, look, we had some misinformation on that. And look, he was a man, okay? He said, look, I reported that. I found out that was not correct, and we're not perfect. We'll probably give some incorrect information, but when it happens, we have to man up and say we did it. Do you know the left ran with this? And look, if he was wrong, I'm glad he admitted it, because he does better than the Democrats. The Democrats be proven wrong I don't know how many times, and they don't admit they're wrong. You're reading wrong. You got the wrong information. They'll make all these excuses of why they were right. I'm making that point out right there. But Elon Musk said, look, hey, I gave this information. The secretary, the press secretary, and Donald Trump said the same thing. I was wrong. And the left, DOGE is lying. DOGE is lying about everything. He messed up on one. Think about this. Okay, he messed up on one piece of information. One. The left lied about the Hunter Biden computer. They lied about the Russian interference hoax. They lied all about that, but you don't hear them apologizing. We had some false information. We said some things we shouldn't have said. We're sorry. You didn't hear that. All you heard was, we were selling we were telling you the information as we were getting it. So you didn't verify it? Elon Musk needs to learn his lesson. He verified what you find out. But Elon Musk, he made a mistake. I'm not giving him a pass on it. He should have did his research. But the left, DOGE is wrong. But that was the only story that was wrong. You notice that it was the sex changes in Guatemala wasn't wrong. The billions of dollars for LGBTQ stuff was not wrong. One thing was wrong. Out of everything else that DOGE has found so far, and the left is pointing to that they're lying. It is not true. It's not wrong. We have a government wasteful spending problem. And these departments, again, why are you fighting for Elon Musk to look into? Look, it's the same thing. He's looking into the IRS right now. I think he's looking into the Department of Justice. He's also looking into the USDA. What is the USDA? What is the Department of Agriculture? And I got this from Breitbart, and I thought this was weird. Me and my friend, I was at their home last night, and I was looking up some stories, and I came across this. Secretary of Agriculture Book Rowlands announced cuts on Friday, saying that the department has terminated 78 contracts totaling more than 132 million. Rowlands says 1,000 contractors are also currently under review for potential termination. Why? Because the Department of the U.S. Department of Agriculture cut all these contracts, these $1 million in contracts that were acted under the Biden administration, including, now listen here, this is the Department of Agriculture. Okay, my grandfather, God rest his soul, passed away when I was very young, but I remember my grandfather. I remember both my grandfathers had passed on, but I remember my grandfather so well. Because the reason I remember him is because I remember those days, and I was homeschooled, and we had time in the afternoons. I would go meet my grandfather on his farm. Not a big farm. It wasn't thousands of acres, but it was a small farm. He would keep, I remember this growing up, he would keep a pig and a cow, raise it from a calf, and every year he would slaughter them, and he would give meat out to my family and my aunts and my uncles. My grandfather could tell you stories. I remember eating lunch with him several times, even as a young boy. He had a farm though, okay? But he knew about raising animals and growing crops and all this stuff. My grandfather, he was a strong Democrat, but he would have been a conservative today. I honestly believe that because of the way he talked. But agriculture is that. Look, farm animals, raising crops, the weather. That's agriculture, right? But listen here, and this is why Elon Musk is looking into this, and this is why departments don't want Elon Musk, because there's wasteful spending in every department. Because they find a loophole, with air quotes, that they can send millions of dollars to things that don't make sense. Okay? Again, totaling $132 million in contracts. The Biden administration, they put in these agencies, they included for Brazilian forests. Well, Isaac, that's agriculture. Brazilian forest. Yeah, Brazilian forest, not American forest. USDA, United States Department of Agriculture. United States. Why is this going to Brazil? For their forests. But hold on, it gets worse. Brazilian forests and gender consultants. And a Central America gender assignment consultant. Warning, angry Isaac is about to come out. What does the Department of Agriculture have to do with gender studies? Think about this. I know it's not that angry, Isaac, but I'm foaming. The Department of Agriculture. This is from Breitbart. All you left-leaning nuts that listen to this show, Isaac, you get angry for that. The Department of Agriculture has nothing to do with gender studies. And you're telling, what, they're going to have to check the sex of the pigs? They got to make sure wheats are not offended that we call them males instead of females? But this is the Biden administration. DOGE is looking into this. You're telling me the U.S. Department of Agriculture had to have studies on genders in Brazil and Central America? Come on, people. If this don't get you angry, it should. Same thing with, and I got this from Amber May. Go check out the Amber May show. Great show. We have the USAID and several organizations funding other organizations that are alleged of sex trafficking. Come on, people. These are our taxpayer dollars going to stupid, idiotic stuff. But you have departments Oh, we want to sue them. We don't want them to come look at our books. Why? Because you are part of the problem. That's why. How they say that? People say, stop looking at the fraud, are normally the people that are committing the fraud. But again, we have some Americans today telling us Donald Trump ain't doing nothing. Donald Trump is finding wasteful spending every way. And look, I'm seeing the left lose it. They're losing their minds. Because again, their gravy train is done. This is why they don't like DOGE. This is why they don't like Elon Musk. They loved Elon Musk a few years ago. Even go to the point that they're even trying to make up stuff about Elon Musk. I forgot the dude's name. The guy with the beard, the older millennial. That's his name on TikTok. Exposed Harry the other day. Harry's a left-leaning TikToker. Oh, Elon Musk got an $800 million contract from the federal government. And he's supposed to be cutting wasteful spending December of 2024. And like the older millennial said, well, hold on, you just debunked yourself. That was under the Biden administration. Come to find out, according to the old millennial, I don't know how true it is, those contracts have been slashed. Donald Trump said, hey, we just shouldn't give it to one person. We should give it this contract, try to bid it out to everybody else. This is for our armor EV, which I don't know why even Donald Trump is entertaining the thought of an EV that's armor plated. Stick with natural gas. Come on, people. But Democrats said, Elon Musk is getting some money. December of 2024, that was under the Biden administration. Trump couldn't make policy then. He wasn't president yet. But see, the left will find any little story to try to make Donald Trump and Elon Musk look bad. Again, going back to Elon Musk's Oval Office visit. First off, people criticized him for not wearing a blazer, and then he was wearing a cap. Look, if Donald Trump approved it, let him do. This man's a multi-millionaire. He don't need this job. Anyway, by the way, I'm just saying. Both of those men don't. And Elizabeth Warren, he's acting like the president. No, he's showing his job. What the president asked him to look at things in the federal government. And he's exposing things. Come on, people. That ticks me off. You have the left losing it because their gravy train is done. And somebody asked me the other day, I mean, Isaac, don't these government officials know about this? Well, some of them do. I think the ones that are crying and weeping right now do. Because why wouldn't you want to stop wasteful government spending? But I think there was some of them. Look, John Kennedy had a viral video the other day of him standing on the Senate floor and talking about this. And saying how, oh, this is going on, that's going on. And he was like shocked when he read those statistics. Sir, there's two things here. One, something got under your nose. And two, you need to read your bills a lot more. Or the bills need to be shortened up. Not 1,500 pages. So look, we have this talk about a government shutdown all of a sudden. You notice that? The Democrats are endorsing a government shutdown. We're going to get our way. If we don't get our way, we're going to create a government shutdown. All of a sudden, the media, oh, this is patriotic. When a couple of months ago, when the Republicans were threatening to shut it down, or advocates like myself was saying shut it down. I know probably Arma Kevin that's in here and several other people that are in this chat and Rumble, they're going to say the same thing. Yeah, shut it down, because they all of a sudden, remember the Democrats saying it was bad. Now they're saying it's good. The left-leaning media is doing the same thing. Hypocrisy is at its finest right now, especially with the Democrat Party. But just think about this, okay? Just think about it. Everybody that's saying, oh, you need to stop looking at the fraud, are probably the ones that are committing fraud. But going back, back to politicians that don't know about this. You need to read your bills. You need to do some homework. We need to stop cramming down government bills and do our job. Again, also another point, hey, we're going to go ahead and fund $40 billion to USAID. Oh, humanitarian aid. Yeah, we need that. Let's give money to that. And come to find out, these people are getting money, and they're not sending it to humanitarian aid. They're sending it for sex change. Like the U.S. Department of Agriculture. How much money does the federal government give to the Department of Agriculture? And we're giving money for a Brazilian forest and gender councils? Or consultants? Come on, man, really? All right, let's move on. Tulsi Gabbard and RFK was confirmed last week. Tulsi Gabbard was confirmed as the Department of National Intelligence head, and Robert F. Kennedy is going to be the new health something human services secretary. So they both got the job. I thought for sure Tulsi Gabbard would get it. Everybody was saying that was the one that was more controversial. I think RFK was more controversial. Okay. And then I'm hoping Cash Patel sometime this week. I know he got out of committee, but he needs to be put as the FBI director. We're seeing a lot of things with the FBI right now. That department of the Department of Justice needs to get cleaned out. There are still people in the Department of Justice that are there pushing the Biden agenda and the left-leaning agenda. I'm hoping that happens this week. RFK, as you know, I had a lot of issues with RFK, especially the abortion issue. And I said this: if he would have got confirmed, he had to have made a deal with something with the Republican Party. Now, a lot of the left leaning, and I got this from Politico and several others, they call him an anti-vaxxer. To my point, I think RFK is not an anti-vaxxer. He is against certain vaccines that were pushed. Okay, we can make that point clear. You need to study things. I think the smallpox vaccine was not released right away. It took several years to make sure the smallpox vaccine worked. And if you look, I got it when I was a baby, but smallpox vaccine shows that it stops smallpox. Plain and simple. Okay. Recent vaccines do not stop the spread of a certain disease. It limits it. It's like the flu shot. I never understood the flu shot, okay? You're going to get the flu shot every year. You're going to get sick right after you get the flu shot. Oh, I'm good for a year. I've never had the flu shot. And look, I'm not telling people if you need it, go get it. But the flu shot to me, it's a shot. It's supposed to prevent you from getting the flu when you get the flu right after. Okay? It's the same thing what they call a vaccine. You know what I'm talking about, guys in the chat. It don't stop. It don't stop a certain disease. But we're told to get it every year. Get the updated C-19 shot. But it don't stop it. And that's what a vaccine's supposed to do. And you're supposed to study those things for years and years. Don't have a pandemic and say, hey, let's hurry and push it. I think that's what RFK is pushing for. Hey, let's just study these things a little bit more. On the note of him with abortion, I don't know what what deal they made, but I hope he listens to the president. And on his abortion, on the abortion stuff, I just wish that the Republicans would have took that more into consideration. Again, they could have made a deal. I don't know. But RFK is in there. And look, people are losing. Now we know DOGE is about to go start looking at the HHS. I read that in the other article. And again, he's looking. I think DOGE is about to start looking at the Department of Education. Let's see what he finds. And we'll make a determination after that. But now that RFK's in there, I think DOGE is going to get a little bit more leeway. But we need to find out what's going on. And also with this, RFK really cares about children. Okay, Democrat or Republican, you know, at the end of the day, we need to protect our youth. We need to protect our children. That's our next generation. And I think he's going to go in there, and especially the FDA, look at it and say, look, what are you allowing? Again, I think it was someone told me that. I forgot who it was. It was a good friend of mine. We import food into the United States all the time. The United States always say, you notice no country is taking our food. They're not importing food out. Why? Because countries know, hey, there's some stuff in there we will not allow. We've seen this with I forgot the YouTuber. Came and there was several people that would try the European food or the Britain food, the cereals and stuff, and then try in America, and it would taste the same, but it looked totally different. Why? Excuse me. Because the United States puts stuff in their food, unfortunately, and we need to be more healthier. Why is obesity on the rise? Yeah, we know people eat and everything like that. I understand, and some people do have medical conditions, but I'm just making this point. But yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, also national director of national intelligence. A lot of people, um, again, these are two of the biggest controversial picks for Donald Trump because both of these people were Democrats back in the day. But especially Tulsi Gabbard, oh, she ain't qualified. She did. This lady was in the military. Why national intelligence? Why national intelligence is part of the military, if I'm not mistaken. But I think this is one of the going back to my last point. This is why it was most controversial with those two picks. Again, they were both Democrats. Tulsi Gabbard, if I'm not mistaken, is a registered Republican. She finally came over to the light. RFK is still independent, I believe, and RFK being an independent, and I just think he's got some liberal views. But him and Donald Trump's on the same page with this, and Donald Trump found common ground with him. And I think, that, again, this is one of the big reasons why Democrats did not support either one of these people. They loved these people a couple of years ago. They loved RFK. They loved Tulsi Gabbard. They were part of the Democrat Party, and they fall in line. They were falling in line. But it's kind of funny. Every time somebody falls out of line of the Democrat Party, they get bashed and they get they get attacked. They get persecuted because you left the cult. And look, I'm not afraid to say that right now. You know how many people look at me? You're a Republican. You must be in a cult. But it's kind of funny that when somebody leaves the Republican Party, yeah, we will tell them, look, you shouldn't, they shouldn't have left. I don't know what changed their mind, but we don't harp on it either. All right, that to my knowledge. Now there might be some Democrats that say, "Oh, you're wrong in that." Well, it's kind of funny though. Like Tulsi Gabbard and Robert Kennedy, Democrats they don't mince words. They just go full blown attack mode on them. Making that point right there. All right. So last week, also, The View, Anna Navarro had some things to say about the halftime show. And look, the halftime show, I didn't watch it. Okay. I did not sit down and watch the things. I watched the pregame ceremonies. The reason I watched the pregame ceremonies, we had, first off, Lauren Daigle did a version of American the Beautiful. We had the national anthem, which I had my thoughts on. I really think they could have done a lot better with the national anthem. And Lady Gaga, don't listen to Lady Gaga. Don't know any of her songs. You put on a Lady Gaga song, I probably would not be able to. I wouldn't even tell if it's Lady Gaga, to be honest with you. But Lady Gaga did a salute to the fallen heroes of the January 1st terrorist attack in New Orleans. Um, it was the pregame was just beautiful. The postgame I didn't watch too much. I seen them get the trophy and everything like that, but I turned it off. Um, but I didn't watch the halftime show. There's a lot of reasons why I don't watch the halftime show. Good Fight Ministries, Pastor Joe Schumo, does a great job exposing a lot of things that happen at the Super Bowl, at the halftime show and all that stuff. And I just don't watch it. Okay, but I started hearing a lot of buzz about it, and even a week later, you normally don't hear about it, but a lot of protest things that were inside the Super Bowl halftime show. I can't think of the guy's name. I think it's Lecrae or whatever his name is. I don't know. But he did a lot of things that you kind of wonder about. Okay, and hearing stories about it. And I went to watch it about halfway, and I was like, I'm not watching this no more. My spirit was grieved what I was watching, and I started doing some research into the guy that did the halftime show. Called himself God multiple times, and had all kind of made some statements about the Lord and Satan, his influence as being Satan, and all that stuff. And go look up Good Fight Ministries YouTube page and look at some of the stuff he exposes. Pastor Joe Schumer, great man of God. I disagree with him on a couple of things with the end times, but I've talked to Pastor Joe. I've interviewed Pastor Joe already, and we have that contact with him to where we could reach out to him and ask him some questions, and also get him back on Brothers Just Searching. We were planning on his documentary on the superheroes, a Marvel, and all that stuff. It's just phenomenal. Go check him out, Pastor Joe Schumo. But anyway, the halftime show had a lot. My spirit was grieving. I stopped watching, but I seen what a lot of people was talking about with the broken flag, but I seen that. And look, some of these artists, they use this big stage to make a statement. And the Super Bowl gives them liberty to do that. They do have a free speech. They can go ahead and voice their opinion. Again, though, a lot of people are not watching sports for political views. Okay, I never thought about turning on sports and I'm thinking politics. No, I'm trying to watch the game. Okay, I'm trying to watch the game. I'm trying to enjoy the game, and we don't want to see Taylor Swift. We don't want to see political figures most of the time. Like Donald Trump there, yay, Donald Trump's there, but we don't want the whole game to focus on Donald Trump. Hey, Travis Kelce gained a touchdown. What Donald Trump thinks about it? Oh, Donald Trump's clapping. Yay, let's go back to the game. Oh, this happened. Let's go back. No, we don't want. We're not focused. We don't want to be focused on politics at that time. Majority of people when they watch sports. But this was a big time thing for him too. Now, the reason I bring this out is the View, Anna Navarro, and them started talking about this, and because of this protest, Anna Navarro predicts that Donald Trump, and I got this from Yahoo Entertainment, but I got this from our good friend Scott Ford. The View, Anna Navarro predicts Trump's executive order banning black people from halftime after Super Bowl 59. Kendrick Lamar blew fans away with his halftime. This again was from Yahoo. I have a different opinion on that. Blew his fans away with his Super Bowl halftime show on Sunday, including the host of The View. In fact, Anna Navarro is pretty sure that after that show, Donald Trump will be signing a new executive order to ensure it never happens again. Discussing the game as the whole Monday of last Monday, the hosts ran through some of their favorite moments, with all of them praising Lamar for his performance. Surprising, Navarro really isn't a fan of football, so she didn't care much about the game. But as she started to give her thoughts on the halftime, she crackled. She laughed a bit. I think today Donald Trump is going to sign an executive order banning black people from halftime, Navarro joked. You remember last week we were talking about whether the NFL was crumbling to Trump by removing the term "in racism" from the end zone. Boy, did they not crumple to Trump. Indeed, Lamar's halftime performance was layered with criticism of the state of things in the U.S. and began with him warning fans that the revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. This was when I saw Samuel Jackson dressed as a black Uncle Sam introducing Kendrick Lamar, who then had like the entire uh, formation of all black people making the U.S. flag. Listen, Navarro continued. This much I know, all the black people on my feed were like, "Oh, this is blacky, black." All it's funny how it's on that point. Conservatives use those terms, and I'm quoting Anna Navarro directly. Conservatives use those terms. Oh, we're racist, but liberals do it, and they're fine. They're not racist. Just bring it out. And all the racists who look, just talking about it, and all the racists who get it, man, were they hopping mad? So if the racists are mad, I'm happy as I claim. That's Anna Navarro. Okay, Anna Navarro happy that racists are upset and all that stuff. But going back to the point, though, making a statement that Donald Trump is going to ban black people from performing at the White House at the halftime show is idiotic. It's stupid. It is so stupid that I had to bring it out on this show today. First off, Kendrick Lamar has every right to believe the way he believes. Okay, I'm not gonna stop that right there. But it even said the reason she brought this out was because of the controversy that was surrounding the halftime performance. Left-leaning people loved it. Every left-leaning person that I hear talk about the halftime show, they're like, "Oh my gosh, that was one of the greatest performances." Because it spoke to their agenda. That's why. Okay, because of that, Donald Trump is not going to ban black people from performing at the halftime show. Donald Trump can't do that either, because that at that point, Donald Trump would do it. I would criticize Donald Trump. But Donald Trump isn't going to try to ban black people from performing. And Anna Navarro did that because she knows she has an audience and she's going to get the claps. But she's suggesting that Donald Trump's a racist. Now, Donald Trump is not a racist. People like he demeaning to women. This is the man that has elevated women to higher positions than anybody else, in my humble opinion. But to make this statement, this is what incites violence. Okay, the left's always talking about inciting violence. The right's going to incite violence and start a war. Funny, we're not the ones calling for people to go on the streets and fight like hell this time. I've given you several examples of Hakeem Jeffries and some other left-leaning individuals that are pushing this. But going back to that, Anna Navarro making this statement. That's what incites violence. She's trying to make the perception of Donald Trump being evil, bad, and racist. And this is because they have nothing else. Okay, Rush Limbaugh said it the best way. If all else fails, turn to the race card. You're losing an argument. If you're debating a Democrat and they're losing an argument, they're going to go to the race card. The economy. Oh, the economy's bad. Yeah, that's because of Trump, because he's racist and he's stopping black people from working. The economy. How does it? There's making no statements there, okay? Anna Navarro is a special type of stupid. I'm sorry. Just bringing that point out right here. All right, Massachusetts town votes to become transgender sanctuary city after wild council meeting. This is another story from last week. I'm bringing some stories in for last week. First off, okay, I'm going to make this point right here. Have you ever seen a transgender person lose their constitutional rights? I bring this up all the time because you have these people that are part of this community tell people, oh, we're misrepresented. We're miss this. We're miss that. And I'm like, have you ever been declined something like your rights? Or are you denied to work? Are you denied to hold a job or anything like that? Are you denied certain bachelor? Well, let me go with this because that one of the. Oh yeah. No, if you are a biological man, you need to use a man's restroom. If you're a biological woman, you need to use the women's bathroom. Okay, but at the same time, like Target and other stores are putting a gender neutral bathroom. They have this in Walmart. They have this in Target. So if you feel like you're a woman, go to the gender neutral bathroom. It does not matter what gender you are. You can go into there. All right? I have used a gender neutral bathroom already. It's not you. No, it's not because I felt like a woman or I felt like a man. It's just when you go into the male's restroom and everybody else is in there blowing it up and using the restroom and you really need to go, hey, that bathroom is convenient. Okay? Or if you have kids or whatever. I'm making those points. There is a gender neutral bathroom. So they've accommodated you guys. But to my knowledge, transgender people have not lost any rights. I think their decisions are questionable. But this whole city, the Worcester City Council in Massachusetts, filed a resolution. This was last Tuesday. To make their city a gender sanctuary city. Transgender sanctuary city. Why? That's a whole other thing too. Are you hearing that Donald Trump is gathering transgender people and putting them in concentration camps? Now Donald Trump has made some thing, with the law of protecting women's sports, and he also asked the NCAA to strip all the people that are transgender if they broke records in a women's sports. If it was a man that turned to a woman and he broke records, to strip them of their records. That has been proven. But Donald Trump is not gathering up these people and putting them in concentration camps. He's not hurting these people. He's not deporting these people. You think about it, okay, they have a better argument for illegal immigrants if they want to be a sanctuary city. Those people are getting deported. These people are not. These are United States citizens. And yes, their decisions are questionable. I don't know why a man would want to be a woman. That's me personally. But for this city council to go ahead and say, we're going to go ahead and protect the LGBTQ plus community by pushing this resolution that Donald Trump cannot come and hurt them in this city. Look, okay, there's laws to say, hey, you can't go in certain bathrooms. We'll give them that. But there ain't laws saying, hey, it's against the law to be a transgender. Now, this is argument too. They say, well, what about all the people that are younger than 18? They're children. They're under their influence of their parents. Okay? I will go ahead and I favor a bill. It's just funny. They want to push the age of owning firearms. You're not mature enough to use a firearm, but you're mature enough to decide what gender you are. You're not mature enough to decide if you want to smoke or not smoke, but you're mature enough to figure out what gender you are. You're not mature enough to hold a driver's license until you're 16 years old, but you're at 10 years old, you're mature enough to decide what gender you are. You get the picture right there? That's just a few examples. The federal government says, hey, you're not qualified right now at this age for this, but you're qualified for this. And these people passing this resolution, like I said, you're not seeing these people be rounded up. Just making that point right there. I don't know what they're sanctuarying them for. Talking about earlier immigration and all, Tim Homan and AOC are having a Twitter war right now. I say Twitter war, an X war, and AOC is endorsing stopping ICE agents operations in the United States and in Congress and everything. But Tim Homan and her is having a back and forth. On Sunday, as a squad Democrat replied to a warning that she could soon find herself in trouble for allegedly impeding ICE operation on air response. Rosa, what she needs to do is read the statutes enacted by Congress because it's a crime to enter this country illegally. The Trump border czar said on this week's Sunday morning futures. Not only that, but when you harbor and conceal and impel law enforcement, that is a felony. What she's doing, she says she's educating people on their constitutional rights, and we all know that we've got constitutional rights, but what she really is doing, she's trying to teach them how to evade law enforcement. And this is AOC. Again, the clash began with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez hosting a Know Your Rights with ICE webinar on Facebook page, advising illegal immigrants on how to handle an encounter with agencies. Homan responded to that webinar on the Ingram angle recently, suggesting that the New York Democrat could be crossing the line. She wrote, "I'm working with Democrats. I'm working with the Department of Justice and figuring out where is that line that they cross. So maybe AOC is going to be in trouble now." He said. AOC also put a Twitter, and that's where it started off. Where they on tweets they started going off with it. I'm not going to for the sake of time. I'm not going to read all the responses, but the reason AOC is doing this is because the Democrats don't care about the law. Okay, the border situation, people can say whatever they want, but Democrats, when illegal immigrants come into this country, they want them to have the right to vote. They want them to have representation. They want them to have all the thing of it is, okay, if you come here in this country illegally, you do not have no rights. You are not a United States citizen. Yes, you have human rights. I will give you that. We have to treat you with human dignity. But at the same time, as for the Constitution, a legal immigrant cannot come into this country and say, hey, I have constitutional rights. Now, the Constitution does address illegal immigration, people coming over. It does bring that out, but that's the only rights they have is with that immigration status. All right. I'm going to use, for example, I don't think, if I agree with this part, if you are a illegal immigrant in this country, you should not be able to hold a firearm. But the Second Amendment is for American citizens. American citizens have the right to bear arms, not somebody that comes in here illegally. That is my thought, and that lines up with the Constitution. Okay? And AOC pushing this just shows that she's lawless. She don't care about the law. She don't care about laws that affect her, apparently. And look, people that come here legally, Democrats look at this as votes. I'm sorry, they've said this already. There's videos of people that are in panels. I think it's Arizona right now that's trying to pass a law that illegal immigrants can vote, and they should be counted in the census. Now, if they're getting counted in the census, you need to see if they're citizens or not citizens. But Barack Obama pulled that away, and when Donald Trump tried to put it back, it was deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. I don't know why the Supreme Court ruled that way, but that's how it is. But Tom Homan and AOC going at it is pretty fun to watch. All right, President Trump is labeled as a hero. Mark Fago is welcome home. Mark Fago was the guy in Russia, stayed several years in Russia for having marijuana. Um, the Biden administration tried to free this man multiple times and failed. Russia did not get too much for this trade. And it's funny how Donald Trump has done it. And this is something else. A lot of people that say, well, Donald Trump hasn't done anything. Look at all the hostages that he has helped release. Israel hostages, our own people from Hamas, people from Russia. I think this is the second or third guy he gets from Russia. There's some, I think it was some people from Saudi Arabia. I think it was like 7 or 8 so far of people that were held in other countries that Donald Trump has brought home. And Biden did this with the basketball player, the woman basketball player, and we understand the agenda that was behind it. But look, Russia got all kind of people for that trade, and Biden, we brought her home. And look, on this point too, okay, if anybody comes home, I'm happy. Okay, I'm glad they made a trade, but it just shows the capability of Donald Trump. Biden, to my knowledge, only got one hostage out of there, and that was that basketball player. Trump is taking people out of hostage situation. It just shows, in my opinion, it shows the capability of the last president to this president in the deal making. All right. But yeah, he is good. Couple of more stories. I'm going to wrap this up and go home. We're going to start hearing handy news in a few minutes. Thanks to Wendy for monitoring the chat, and thank everybody on Rumble and everybody else. Go check out all our platforms. Also, go check out primetimemediala.com. A Cold War is brewing, and this is from Canada and America. 3 fights break out in the first 3 minutes of the U.S.-Canadian hockey game. There was this tournament this week, and it happened, I think, in Canada. And the highly anticipated matchup between Team USA and Canada on Saturday night broke out again with 3 fights. Number 1 U.S. against number 2 Canada. That's going to be a big rival anyway in hockey, because Canada is really big on hockey and America was number 1. And at this game, I think it was in Canada that this all took place, and they booed the national anthem. They booed our national. Look, in a national game like that, you should respect each other, especially if you're in the same continent. Look, I understand. Look, Donald Trump wants Canada to be the 51st state. He's still. I had a report the other day that Justin Trudeau is really scared that Donald Trump is real serious about this. But this whole thing about Donald Trump pushing for Canada to be 51st state, I think he was trolling Trudeau, to be honest with you. But first off, a lot of Canadians want to be part of the United States. If even half Canada will become America, half of those people will be happy with the new rights they will include. They'll be grandfathered in as citizens. But all this stuff right here, with Canada and stuff, but they booed the national anthem. Now, okay, I understand you're in Canada, but come on, Canadians, I know you're a lot friendlier than that. Booing our national anthem? Come on, bro. And look, you can disagree with Donald Trump, you can disagree with the nation, but honor the country. Look, and this wasn't that big of a story in a lot of other news or sites. A lot of conservatives brought this out. But could you imagine if American citizens would have booed Canada and their national anthem? Oh my goodness, you wouldn't hear the end of it. Double standards, though. Okay. If Canadians do it, hey, that's all right. They're Canada, they can do that. But if you're Americans and you do it, no, nope, no, you can't do that. Nope. And this is why this fight, bro. The Americans just punching. Again, this is a rival. Understand that. And look, hockey's a different sport. I never seen a sport where you can just throw off your gloves and just start hammering each other with a fist, except boxing. But I'm not that big of a hockey fan, so sorry everybody that's hockey fans. All right, one more story. We're gonna wrap this up and go home. Allison Arngrim, who played Nellie in Little House on the Prairie, made some comments about the new reboot of Little House on the Prairie. A lot of people might be like, "Well, Isaac, that's not." Well, that's why I say it for the last. I love Little House on the Prairie. I talked about the reboot the other day, and I made some comments. I said, "Look, I don't think it's gonna live up to the original." But Allison Ongrim, I hope I'm saying her name right. She was Nellie again in Little House on the Prairie. Says Netflix reboot can't recreate Michael Landon's magic. In an interview, she went ahead and told Fox News Digital that fans shouldn't be worried about Netflix rebooting the classic series, which concluded after 9 seasons in 1983. The actor has been keeping busy, attending events and reconnecting with viewers globally to celebrate Lil House and its legacy. Yes, this is a deal at Netflix. The stars shared. Even the people making it have said, "Oh God, I don't care. Oh God, don't call it a reboot." They're nothing. They're not trying to remake the '70s show. Everyone has said, obviously, we can't recreate that. We don't want to recreate that. That's been done. Michael Landon did it. He achieved it, and boom, is good. We're leaving that alone. So that's a good statement right there because again, Little House on the Prairie can't be replaced. Okay, several people have tried to make a version of Little House on the Prairie. They have tried to make shows about Laura Ingalls Wilder and all that stuff, but nothing could beat Little House on the Prairie. And I'm glad she's apparently she has something to do with the reboot. So because she said we're not trying to reboot it. But let's see what it does. Okay, I'm just hoping that if it labels it Little House on the Prairie, people are going to think of this as a reboot. And I hope they don't pervert it. I really hope Netflix, because look, Netflix has a bad reputation on that part of taking shows, rebooting them, or trying to make something and perverting the snot out of it. And I hope that. I hope if they keep if they keep it as a family show, that'll be awesome. Okay, and look, shows do this for after a while. I've seen this, like the Sonic movies. I love the Sonic movies. My boys like the Sonic movies, but the third one had cussing in it. Why? Kids are watching this. I'm just making that point. A lot of shows start off good. I hope that don't happen either. They start out good and they start trending towards the perversion. But and I said I was gonna keep it up. I was going but we have confirmation from one of the stars. Hey, they're not gonna try. They're not trying to remake the show or reboot it. They're just trying to. They're putting another version of it out there, and we're gonna have to see what happens. Like I said, Disney did one. It was an alright show. It was a little mini series, but it was more on the lines of the pilot movie, and they went according to the book. It was alright, but it wasn't the greatest. So, with that being said, guys, we're going to be going over the handy news in a few moments. So, Wendy, be ready. Be ready for the raid. But I'm going to make this point right here. Again, as I always say, thank you guys so much for your support. This show is not possible without you. Yes, I could come behind a microphone and talk, and nobody's listening, and nobody's giving a hoot about what I say, and that is possible. But every day that I'm on, I have an audience. And I want to thank Two Mics Live for allowing Wendy to raid into the show. It helps me out on Rumble. Everybody that's watching on YouTube, everybody that's listening on the podcast side, thank you. You are a vital part to this show, and I could not be doing it without you guys. I love you guys, and I appreciate you more and more every day. Keep me in prayer. Things are in the works. I'm praying about some things, but you keep me in prayer, and let's grow this show. I need you to do me a favor. Share it with your friends. Tell your neighbors. Go check the Isaac Hayes show. Go check out primetimemediala.com, guys. We want to get this website growing, and we need your help to do that. We cannot do it on our own. Want to thank you always for joining us, and I appreciate you guys. Until next time, you be blessed. You be encouraged. We will see you next time here on the show. You have a great rest of your Monday. Be blessed. Be encouraged. You have a good one.